Did you fail to manifest your desire? Did something else show up? Nothing at all happen? Or the opposite of what you wanted showed up? If you said yes to any of these, then this video is for you, so stay tuned. Hello everyone, I am your Muse Traci. I am your favorite manifestation coach. I am here to inspire you and empower you to live the life of your dreams, to create on purpose exactly what you want in all areas of your life, to stop settling and to stop suffering. You are not here to suffer. If that sounds good to you, you are more than welcome to subscribe to my channel. If you're interested in any of my offerings, I have one-on-one coaching packages. I also have group coaching. My next group coaching program, which has been getting rave reviews, by the way, starts in a few short weeks, right in the new year. So I'm currently also offering a special and limited time pricing program for this upcoming program, group coaching. If you're interested in getting that special limited time pricing, send me an email or drop me a comment here on this video. All right, you guys, so let's get into it. On to the video for today. Did you fail to manifest? Well, if you did say yes, or if you resonate with these questions, you kind of think that it applies to you. With any of those questions that I asked, you feel like you failed, something else showed up, maybe the opposite showed up, maybe nothing at all showed up. Well, I'm here to tell you that you're never failing to manifest, because the nature of reality is that you are manifesting everything. Now, that doesn't mean that you are manifesting everything that you want. However, the notion of failing is a false notion. It's a false concept, because you're never failing. Nothing is ever final or set in stone, and so you can never actually fail to manifest your desires. Okay, now just for clarity's sake, let's revisit what manifesting really means, because even that term itself is sometimes misunderstood and has misnomers, associated with it. So let's clear that up first and foremost. Manifesting means that you change your inner state of being to align with a reality that already exists in a parallel reality, and you persisted in that inner state of being enough. And by the way, enough meaning to the point of conviction within yourself. It does not mean enough in terms of the length of time enough, or even repetitions or something like that. Enough is to the point of conviction. Okay, you've convinced yourself. That's the enoughness that you're striving towards. You persisted to the point of conviction so that the evidence of your inner state of being, your inner conviction about your, desired reality shows up. It fills in your experience. So this is what manifesting truly means. It's not creating something. It's not changing current circumstances or people or whatever. It's not changing those things into what you desire. No, those things never change. So, if you thought manifesting meant you were creating something out of the blue, or creating something new that has never been created before, or changing something that you didn't like into something that you do like, or changing something outside of you so that there is something more of your preference, none of that is what is actually going on. So the understanding that you are not creating anything ever is so helpful, because that in and of itself lowers the amount of perceived effort that you will feel and interpret inside of yourself. The effort that you need to invest in your manifesting or manifestation process. You're not creating anything. So there's really not a lot of struggle and strain needed here. Creation is finished. And I'm going to do a whole other video dedicated to that really soon, coming up in the next couple of videos. It's been highly requested and something that I want to expand on a little bit further. But for now, we're just, creation is finished. So specifically reminding yourself of this, that everything already exists, all possibilities already exist, and what is currently visible to you is only visible because of your previous state of being, your past assumptions, your past thoughts, your past beliefs, what you dwelled upon, what you kept coming back to over and over and over and over until you created inner conviction. And there it is, the evidence will follow your conviction, whether you wanted to be convinced of that thing or you just through, unawareness, unconscious thoughts fed to you from your programming, right? You can be convinced about things in many different ways. It can be an insecurity that just plays over and over and over and over, and you convince yourself. So, you can really convince yourself of anything. You're trying to take this process that can happen unconsciously according to your insecurities and your fears and your doubts, and you're trying to do it consciously, because you would only do it consciously according to what you want to experience. You wouldn't consciously convince yourself of something that is not of your preference, I hope. So now when I say selected it, I mean you dwelled upon it and you believed in it, you kept focusing on it to the point of conviction. So then it became visible in your current reality, because your reality is a holographic simulation that is created by you, your beliefs, assumptions, dominant patterns of thinking. But this holographic simulation that is currently showing up is just one option. It's just one option. One option out of the infinite potentialities that exist. All possibilities exist. This is a serial universe, as Neville has said, and as he calls it. And he's referring to parallel realities and this notion that creation is finished. All possibilities exist. And so all possibilities exist. And again, what you're seeing, what you can currently experience with your five senses is just one option. And when I say one option, I mean one combination of all that is. And there are infinite different combinations of all that is. Okay? So we don't need to get hung up on what is. This is what trips a lot of people up. We get hung up on what is. But when you remember that creation is finished and this is just one option, and super important, it's the result of your past state of being. You're not a victim to what's showing up either. Your job as a conscious creator is to choose the thoughts, beliefs, assumptions according to the reality that you actually prefer to experience. Not keep thinking thoughts about what currently is or what you have experienced in the past. This is the biggest thing that keeps people stuck. They keep choosing their thoughts according to what has been, rather than according to what they choose to now experience. You see, your mind is a tool. It's a power tool. And you are not your mind. You are the awareness that has the ability to choose the thoughts that, perpetuate and that you believe in. Really, that's the power. Any thought at all can pop up, but it's about whether you choose to believe it or not. And since you are not your mind, you are not your thoughts, you get to choose which thoughts you continue to dwell upon, and you get to choose which thoughts that you believe in. And this is very, very powerful. When you practice it, you have to practice it, right? You have to take this knowledge and put it into practice in your own being. Just knowing this alone won't really help you all that much. You have to practice choosing your own thoughts according to what you specifically want to experience. So let's take a few examples to make this really clear for everyone. I know you guys like examples. Let's say you're manifesting a specific person, very common thing to manifest around here, a person that you desire to have a relationship with, and you have only ever experienced them telling you, hey, I don't want a commitment with you or with anyone else. Maybe they said that, maybe that's their whole story is they don't commit. Okay. And so they have only ever said this to you, and you desire a committed relationship. So when you experience this, you may have a tendency to regard your manifestation as failed. You may think that you have failed because here's this person that you want a commitment with showing up and telling you, I don't want a commitment. And maybe it's not the first time. Maybe they're, saying it to you one more time, even after you've tried to manifest. So maybe you think that your manifestation has failed. However, now that you've watched this video, you won't do that anymore. Now you will see that this is just one option. This is just one option. This holographic simulation of your specific person is just one option. It isn't your preferred option. And since you have the power to choose any thought and any belief and you get to shift your attention and focus at will, and immediately, I might add, to the version of your specific person that does want to be in a loving, committed relationship with you. Because remember, all possibilities exist. And this version of your specific person that doesn't want commitment is one version. It's one possibility, but there are infinite versions of your specific person, and they all exist right now simultaneously. You're not creating it. Remember, creation is finished. So immediately the perceived effort is diminished. You're not creating that. You're not changing this version into that version. You're changing you. You're changing what you focus on to the point of conviction, until you can reach the point of conviction, before there's evidence, I might add, that your specific person is, dying to be in a committed relationship with you. That's your job. That's your job before you have any evidence of it. So your job is to choose. It's really no different from choosing a character in a video game, really. Choose the version of your specific person that you prefer to experience and focus on that. Give your attention to that. You don't need any proof of this version when you know that all versions exist and all possibilities exist. If all possibilities exist, then this is true for your specific person as well, isn't it? Yes, it is. Right, then so let's look at another example. Let's say that you have a job right now and it doesn't provide a good level of pay, and you might think, well, I've failed at my manifestation. No, you haven't failed. You're just experiencing one option. The one option is good job, not so good pay. Okay, if this is not your preference, you simply identify your preference and start dwelling upon it. I now have a good job and good pay. I love that I get to do the work that I want to do and get paid the amount that I want to be paid. You don't need evidence of this before you can start focusing on it. Remember, because all possibilities exist. You don't have to limit your attention to what you have experienced or what you are experiencing or what you've experienced in the past. You do not have to do this. So why? Why is that? Because all possibilities exist right now, and you will only get the evidence of it once you have held it in your consciousness for long enough. Again, what is the long enough about? It's long enough to the point where you are convinced, right? It's not long enough in terms of like a specific amount of time. It's not like that. It's the amount of, long enough is the amount of time. I guess you can measure it in time. But the enough is whatever you need to create that conviction within you, whatever you need to convince yourself. So you hold, and it's different for different things. Some things you can dwell upon and you're like, yeah, that's what it is. And this conviction can happen very quickly. So you don't need to think that like, oh, I can't reach conviction. It takes me months and weeks and years. It doesn't have to. Why don't you just focus on be whatever you need to do to create the conviction rather than focusing on how long that's going to take you and fearing that it's going to take a long time. You don't need to focus on that. So you see your 3D, again, is a holographic, illusion, basically. It's a hologram. You don't need to take it so seriously. I know this is easier said than done because we've been trained to regard our circumstances as so real and, just it's scary and you have to be careful and, all these things. And none of that is actually true. But if you're watching this video, then you're ready to start practicing this type of mindset where you stop basing your thoughts on what you've seen around you, in front of you, in your past history, right? In your own experience. We're not just watching for these, we're not just watching my videos for entertainment purposes, I hope. I really want you guys to take these concepts and apply them. I've done videos about this, right? Like just watching these and even just watching them for that hit of like reassurance that, yeah, I'm empowered, but you have to know how to apply it to you. You have to start to learn to, apply these things to yourself. Well, you don't have to. I want you to do that so that you will be empowered. Watching this might give you a hit of, inspiration, but the real magic happens when you learn to apply it and you practice it and you apply it to yourself and you know, be courageous enough to hold in your mind things that you can't see yet. I know it's scary at first. It's kind of like, and your mind is going to be like, hey, what are you doing? No, we don't do that. But you can say, no, this is how it works. I'm in charge here, right? Your mind and the way that it's always done things isn't actually in charge. It's going to try to be, but it isn't actually in charge. You're in charge. You get to choose. So we're not just watching for entertainment purposes, but to really learn these concepts and then apply to yourself and what's going on inside of you, because that's how you're going to see the change. And then you're going to feel empowered and you're going to want to apply it even more and more. Right? So we apply it to our own life and then we get to live the life that we're meant to live. And we get to experience ourselves as this magnificent and powerful creator that we truly are. So don't be fooled by the seeming realness of your 3D reality. It's a holographic illusion, remember? So you are free to choose out of the infinite possibilities, and you don't need to wait for the evidence, and you are never, ever, ever failing. You're never failing to manifest. When nothing shows up at all, it's showing you how you must be holding two concepts. And by the way, you can't hold these two concepts. Neville calls this being double-minded. So this is when we're back and forth. It's here, it's not here, it's here, it's not here, it's here, it's not here. We're holding these double concepts and we're being double-minded. You can't hold two and expect just one of them to show up. Your reality isn't selective. It's literally taking its cue from you, and you have to be very diligent and very committed to focusing on what it is that you want. How long? Until you create this inner state of conviction. And it's not a time thing. It's a how much time do you need? How much repetition? What do you need? Maybe it's not even repetition. It could be just reminding yourself of the correct concepts, right? Some of the concepts that I mentioned in this video to create this inner conviction. So you're never failing, you guys. You can create the illusion that you're failing, but the thing that you need to remember and come back to is, if it looks like I'm failing to manifest, that's me doing it. So let me, really observe myself, really get to know myself, and figure out, what am I doing? Am I holding two ideas, flip-flopping back and forth to create this illusion of no movement? You probably are, because otherwise there wouldn't be an illusion of no movement. This reality is consistently and constantly taking its cue from you. And, look at, maybe you hold the concept of like, yeah, this doesn't work for me, which I used to hold that concept as well, you guys. So I get it. I know what that's like. So you're never failing. You're never failing. You can't fail. The reality is set up to take its cue from you. So you're never failing. You might be manifesting, the illusion of nothing happening, or you might be manifesting the opposite of what you actually want. And again, it's about understanding, well, I can never fail. So if this is what's showing up, I'm going to look at myself. I'm going to be more self-observing and watchful and aware of what I'm doing, so that I can figure out how I'm doing this and then change it so that I get, actually what I want in my 3D reality. All right, you guys, please leave me a comment down below and send in your questions. I'm still doing questions of the week when you guys send them in. So send me some questions and I will see you in the next video. Bye.